Greetings everyone, and especially to all our viewers. Today, in this video, I will be particularly deliberating upon how the withdrawal of the American troops from the Afghanistan region is assumed to be a pretty wise decision. Very blatantly, it is being opposed on how Joe Biden's order to withdraw the US troops and the NATO troops by September 11, 2021 would clear the way for Taliban to grow back into a superior form and right also harm the US behind led government in Kabul, worsening situations due to the above mentioned details wherein Taliban might provide a safe haven to the global Islamic terrorist organizations, which in particular the reference is to the Al Qaeda. But the point remains that these surely plausible arguments do not exactly explain why the American and NATO troops should continue to stay back in that Afghanistan region. In the continuation of this video, I'll be summarizing and debunking these statements in an organized manner and how to explain that these much plausible statements are actually being opposed by the US President. The arguments against the decision for the withdrawal of troops fall in sync to saying that US has yet not achieved its goal for which it has actually set out in Afghanistan. But irrespective of talking about the needs of Afghanistan, US is trying to fulfill actually. It's important to understand that it's next to impossible as over the tenure of 20 years, America has literally fought Taliban and it has nowhere achieved any sort of growth or success in order to overturn this terrorist organization. So it's simply plausible to say that using this force and bit of army is going nowhere, and it's simply unrealistic to believe that Taliban could be overturned by the American military. Also, during this course, President George Bush's administration ventured into the revenge policy to topple Taliban and to root out Al Qaeda, because of which the tactical diplomacy and logistical security support, which the US policy should have adopted, they did not, and they chose to venture into the military force given by US into Afghanistan to root out the terrorist groups, which was of no good use as it was only a vague and useless effort to bring out nothing good. And also, it is another argument that if we do not provide groundwork military forces in Afghanistan, US would actually be promoting a much more bigger base to Taliban to function it, and it could actually capitulate and decapitalize the Kabul regime. But there are no points to prove actually that how the presence of a military force could actually prevent that from happening, whereas US should venture into creating bilateral ties with the stakeholders near Afghanistan such as India and Pakistan in order to bring about a unanimous support from the neighboring countries. There are many other major arguments to condemn the withdrawal of the troops, but one has to realize that once so many levels, these efforts of military involvement by the US have gone completely futile. Plus, it is highly important and necessary to realize how there are other so many non-military ways and tactics to prevent the terrorist revival in Afghanistan. There are many other important issues that US needs to address and tackle more than the issue of military involvement in Afghanistan. And President Biden's decision to pull out the troops is the right move in the right direction, to say the least of all. Also, in personal opinions, US should continue to mediate between the Kabul-based regime government and Taliban in order to bring about a simple truce between the two entities. Thank you.